Adriana, you're not a goddamn manga scientist. Hi, my name is Adriana and welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I said I was going to do a manga review like the day after I posted that. That's what I said in the video, but then I graduated high school. Forgot I was gonna do that, so that took a little bit of my time. Congratulations to me, sorry about that. Now I'm here, you can't escape me, and I will be talking at you about a manga series that I have been really enjoying, so much so that I didn't really think I was gonna enjoy it as much as I do. Of course, I am talking about right here, My Dress Up Darling. I have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Pick this up because the art is gorgeous. Look at my girl, she's gorgeous. All these covers just blew me away. They're so cute. She looks so cute. Just the colors, the like font, it's adorable. Everything about it is adorable. So this is called My Dress Up Darling. When you buy this in maybe Barnes & Nobles, maybe your local manga shop, it will be plastic wrapped, and that is because it does have a parental advisory warning right here for explicit content, and I will go a little bit deeper into that. But if you're looking to pick this up after this review, just be warned that it's gonna have a little bit of plastic wrap, but it's not as bad as you think. So here we have it, My Dress Up Darling. What is this about? My Dress Up Darling follows a high schooler named Gojo Akana, and he is a very shy, very reclusive, socially awkward boy. He lives with his grandfather, and his grandfather makes Hina dolls. Now, if you don't know, Hina dolls are a very traditional Japanese doll. They're meant to represent the emperor and empress back when that was a thing, and they are gorgeous, handmade craftsmanship. It is, the detail on these dolls is crazy. They're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. So that's what his grandfather does, and ever since he learned that his grandfather does this, he wanted to follow in his grandfather's footsteps. So Gojo has been training for years, ever since his childhood, to be a Hina doll maker. When Gojo was a boy, he actually got ridiculed, like kind of bullied, by one of his classmates because he likes Hina dolls. The girl kind of called him weird and was kind of disgusted by it. So ever since then, Gojo has been very socially awkward, has kept to himself a lot because he's scared that people are gonna judge him for liking Hina dolls, and that if he does tell people that he makes Hina dolls, training to make Hina dolls, that they'll think he's weird and that he shouldn't do that. Gojo is not very popular and not very well known. He doesn't really say anything in his class, and that is evident in a scene with our main character, the main girl, Marin Kitagawa. Gojo reflects on how a girl like Marin is so beautiful, so popular, so out there and energetic, and has so many friends, and he'll never be like that. Him and her are in two different worlds, and they'll never be able to cross paths. Like, someone like him can never really talk to someone like her. Our story starts when one day the sewing machine in Gojo's house breaks. The sewing machine breaks and he needs to make these doll clothes, so instead he uses the home ec room at his school to use the sewing machine. As he's working using the school sewing machine, guess who walks in but none other than Marin herself. Marin reveals that she's there because she is making a cosplay. Prior to making a cosplay, it's not really working out very well. She kind of doesn't know what to do, even though she has instructions from a book. There's also a very cute little moment where Gojo reveals why he's using the sewing machine, and it's for his Hina doll, and Kitagawa is in love with that idea. He thinks it's so cool that he knows how to sew and that he's making these very intricate Hina dolls, and she's just blown away by it. And for the first time in Gojo's life, he has approval from someone other than his grandpa, and someone actually liking what he does. These two team up, and that's where our story begins. Marin comes to him with a cosplay idea, a character that she really wants to dress up as, and Gojo takes it upon himself and makes the outfits for her. I originally picked this up because that's an amazing premise just by itself. A socially awkward boy makes the cosplays of a cosplayer, like a very like seductive cosplayer. That's amazing. sign me up. Right off the bat, you can see how gorgeous the art is. It is something to behold. I love the way Marin is drawn. She is so cute. In every panel she's in, she is the cutest. I am in love with her. I am in love with her character. Just a very headstrong, carefree girl, but who also loves anime. She loves like PC dating games. She is a nerd and she's not afraid to let people know. She stole my heart in just the first volume. I'm in love with Marin. I have a folder of screenshots of her on my computer and I'll just open it up and look at her because oh my god, she's gorgeous. I love cosplay. I love looking at cosplays, so of course I picked the series up immediately just to see what it was about. And I was surprised by this series. I was really surprised by this manga. At surface level, it's just a socially awkward boy, a hot girl, and he just makes her clothes for her, and there's kind of like the awkward situations of like, oh, I have to measure you, oh my god, I'm so close to you. Of course you're gonna get all that, but there's a lot more to it that I just was not expecting. The series talks about embracing what you love and not letting anybody judge you for what you love, because that's just what you love. It talks a lot about how people are not going to accept your hobbies, how some are gonna think it's weird, gonna think it's strange, and not everybody in the world is going to accept what you do or what you love. But on the offhand, there's gonna be a lot more people that are interested in what you do, that are interested in the hobby that you're doing, or might even do the same hobby themselves. It talks a lot about loving what you love and to not be ashamed of it, and to not listen to what anybody says, because yeah, even though people are gonna judge you, there are gonna be a lot more people that think it's cool, that wanna join you. I want to talk to you about it. I was really surprised by that message. I think it's a really heartfelt message, and we can see the character development of Gojo being very shy about what he loves and being very shy that he's able to make these dresses, to him supporting others, to him supporting the hobbies of others, and realizing that yeah, maybe not every guy in Japan can sew a mean dress like I can, but that's okay. People love my cosplays. Kitagawa loves dressing up in my cosplays, and as long as she's happy and as long as I can make other people happy with my craft, that's all that matters. It is a very heartfelt message. I was not expecting it, but I am so happy with it. It's like a running theme in the chapters to just love what you love and to not care what anybody else says. So much so that when characters come in and they learn about what Gojo does and his Hina dolls and stuff like that, kind of have a moment of suspense of like, oh my god, are they gonna judge him? Like, oh my gosh, are they gonna make fun of him? And they never do. They think it's so cool that he does what he does. Like I said, the premise is cool enough, but to have that heart, to have such character and growth, I was pleasantly surprised, and I think that's why I'm so in love with this series. And of course, we can't talk about My Dress Up Darling without talking about the lewdness, I suppose, of the series. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, there is a parental advisory, explicit warning. All these volumes will come wrapped in a sense to tell you that, oh, there's something spicy in here. I am not a big fan of ecchi. I've tried to avoid it as much as I can. I'm okay with fan service in my shows. I mean, one of my favorite animes is Fire Force, so I can tolerate it. I definitely will not seek it out. If I can do without it, I definitely would want to. But as someone who is not a fan of ecchi, who's not a fan of like overly suggestive fan service, I gotta say that the fan service and the lewdness in here is not that bad. Sure, of course, there are suggestive shots, suggestive narrative, but all of it is mostly like awkward situations. It's mainly like Marin getting in a position and Gojo just being like embarrassed and scared by it. I feel like that's really what it boils down to. Of course, there are suggestive panels, there are suggestive shots, but it really doesn't go farther than that. I can't talk about that without talking about, there is one nude scene in volume 3, but it is accidental. It just happens. It is an accidental walk-in of somebody and she just happens to be naked, and like that's it. It's just an awkward situation, like with most of the lewd panels in this. There is a very suggestive scene like chapters after volume 4. I forget the specific chapters. It happens in volume 5, which is not yet published in English. A very lewd scene happens and it's very suggestive, very like, oh ho ho, but it's still an awkward situation. It's still like an awkward accidental. So because of that, because of most of the shots and most of the weird situations are not quote unquote intentional, and it's kind of just Gojo being awkward and Marin being like a little bit like risque, I don't really think it's that bad. But of course, if you hate all of that, then maybe steer clear, or maybe just read the first volume to see and test your waters to see if that's something that you're going to be into. But like I said, from someone who is not that big of a fan of fan service, it's just kind of like sexy shots of cosplays and outfits. Maybe like Gojo thinks something weird and he's like, oh my god, why did I think that? I think that's like the extent of the lewdness. So far, I mean, I've only read up to chapter 58, I think. That's what's translated so far that I can find, and that's just been the case. So far, it has been officially translated up to volume 4. Volume 4 is a very recent release. I think it came out like around June, like mid-June. Very, very recent. My Dress Up Darling is actually a series that came out in 2018, but due to the growing popularity of it, it started getting a official English translation and release somewhere around like April 2020. And because of this, they only have 4 volumes. I was trying to like analyze. Don't say analyze when you're just looking at the month and the next month and just subtracting the difference between these two. Do not say analyze, Adriana. You're not a goddamn manga scientist, okay? But looking at the patterns of English release, I think there's like around 5 months in between, judging how the first volume came out April 2020 and then the second volume came out August 2020. So I think it's around like 5 to 4 months, and since this came out just recently in June, I think it's gonna be around October-ish that we get the official 5th volume in English. So if you're like me and you want to support the release and you want very cute covers in your collection, then definitely go out and buy these. If you're trying to test the waters or you don't care, you can find them online. It's translated up to chapter 58 by the time I'm recording this. And if you hate manga, which if you do, I don't know why you're watching, but if you hate manga in general, don't worry. My Dress Up Darling has been announced to be getting an anime release, which I am so stoked for. You guys do not understand how excited I am to see my girl animated. Is this how Chainsaw Man fans feel? Because I feel it. I feel the hype, but for an anime about cosplayers. My Dress Up Darling definitely exceeded my expectations. Gorgeous art, gorgeous panels, a really funny plot, really good heart, and great character. My Dress Up Darling was so good. I hoped you liked this review enough that you're gonna start reading it, that you're gonna join me in waiting for new chapters and eagerly waiting for that anime release. I really hope My Dress Up Darling can get the love it deserves. I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about it. Maybe I've seen like 2 or 3 reviews, not a lot. So I hope it gains a lot more traction. I hope a lot more people talk about it because it's just what it deserves. Look at her. It's what she deserves. Thank you for sticking around and hearing me talk about how much I love this manga. If you want to know what I'm reading or watching recently, I will put my Annie list down in the description so you can follow me, we can chat, we can talk about our favorite animes and mangas, and it'll be a great time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for just me talking more about the stuff that I like. Quality content. I hope you guys stay well and stay safe. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video.